Hello everyone, YouTube, it's Alex here, back with some more Boom Beach. Yes, I'm back after a slight delay to my usual schedule, which I will get into later. And here, as you can see, we have the Boom Beach HQ13, in this case, tree-based design. Now, I think I said this before, if I do any tree-based designs, well, I might have not said this, but if I do any tree-based designs from now on, at least from HQ12, now 13, and so on, they will not be as designed for the straight-up defense, as I would have not gone for a spaced-out design if I wanted to do that anyway. But this is more of sort of a cool-looking base rather than the absolute most functional base in the world. Mind you, this has still got me a handful of defenses, and to be fair, I think my victory points are not so achingly high that I'm getting raided every 5 minutes by like level 50s or something like that. Eventually my offensive account will turn that out that way, but for now it's all actually doing alright. I mean, warriors do get through me, I suppose, because this area is all rushable. Go for the rocket launcher, take out the boom cannon, and you got a fairly straight run to the HQ. But that's a different story. But this is just, I mean, I'll just leave this up on screen if you want to have a look at it. And yes, you can probably tell I am on my offensive account, just viewing myself, at least, via my task force stuff. So, I do like this design. It's very, I don't know, I mean, I'm still waiting for a lot of trees to grow back, especially around this section here. But it's just nice sort of having these, like, nice lines of trees. It looks almost like it's artificially planted this way. It's quite nice. Random vault there and the radar and stuff, but all in all it looks good. I do like the look of it, but of course it's not meant to be super functional, but it looks good, and looking good, at least in my offensive account's base, is certainly up there. So just give, here's a few ideas if you want to make a base of your own, and if you're an offensive player and you really don't care about defense as much, but you're still going to put buildings in the way. I do have all the buildings down for each HQ level so far, but so if you just want a rough design, something that looks good, and you just want to put things somewhere, and you might want to do something with the trees, who knows, then here is a design that you can take it or leave it, depending what you want to do. It's up to you, it's your base. So, very short and to the point, but that's all I really wanted to show you. But anyhow, let us go back to my base, and there isn't much to talk about apart from finished the cannons level 11, and I'm now starting on mortars to level 13, and here are the stats of said mortars. Very powerful, I think. And oh yes, the stats of the cannons, if anyone is wondering. And HQ12 looks quite nice. You've got a nice sort of stone-looking pedestal, I suppose, for the cannons, so that looks quite nice. But I won't be upgrading those just yet. They might be next, I don't know. Maybe I should stop neglecting my landing craft and getting those upgraded, because I could upgrade this one right now, but I've got better ideas for my loot and such, but there isn't too much going on. I suppose here is my crystal stack, if anyone's wondering. I've still been trying to get a lot of ice health, because ice health is the most annoying substance to come across, it seems. So all my reclaiming of various guardians, I do have quite a few crystals now, so it looks like we'll be on our way for another masterpiece, and I hope to the Boom Beach gods that this masterpiece would be a health of at least 25% or better. And I'm also close to a life statue. So that is that. So let's get some defenses on, at least showing what's going on. Oh yeah, you can also see I've been fighting this level 48 for this quite crappy resource base. Crappy in terms of defenses. It was level 25 when I first conquered it, and now it's just turned into this. So it's already up to level 35, 10 levels higher so far. I've been trading it with this guy back and forth constantly, although RCM still does work with the base quite well. How long's this sub got left? 1.5 hours, not too bad. Right, let us rewind to, not too far, let's actually, I've been attacked a fair bit. Let's rewind as far as here, and you can see all the fails. This is actually the second take of this video, since I was recording on the wrong bloody microphone. So yes. Anyway, let's get back to the point. Where the hell have I been? I mean, okay, we're talking about one day later than I normally am. I usually say I leave a maximum of 4 days between videos, and we're now at 5 days. Okay, I know I'm exclaiming over 1 day. It's been one extra day that I haven't done a video. Well, there's been a reason for that. And the problem is, of course, hard drives. Basically, to put it simply, in my main system, I have just a small SSD for boot, a 1 TB hard drive just to store anything I happen to be doing, and like stuff like system paging files, and my recordings. At least temporary recordings. I also do have a FreeNAS server which does store the majority of all the other crap that I can't be asked to store on any other specific system. So, to put it simply, my main hard drive was, I would say failing. I would be more inclined to say it was spazzing. Now, what I mean really is what it was often doing was locking up. Now, the problem is this drive was also my paging files, and if for anyone who doesn't know, that is basically virtual RAM, I suppose. That the system can just dump sort of temporary information on the hard drive rather than actually using system RAM. And that is something that you can do. I moved it off of the SSD onto the hard drive just for the reason of, I think putting paging files and stuff like that, putting that stuff on the SSD seems like a death wish to me. Why would you put some, temporary files like that, which are going to get overwritten and rewritten constantly, and SSDs don't like being written constantly and overwritten for that matter. It just seems like a very stupid idea. But ignoring the above, basically my paging files were on the drive and everything else. So the drive was locking up. Now, should I say it was basically, under Windows it was saying that it was at 100% usage, which would sound like the drive was like under a full read, full write, or just its IOPS were being maxed or something like that, or whatever. So it was under a lot of load. But the thing is, it was under 100% load apparently, doing nothing. I don't know what it was really doing or what the hell it was thinking, but it was basically doing almost nothing. So, because it locked up, basically where my paging files were and all, they were all stored there, what often happened was the system would just blue screen. Because eventually, after a long period of not responding, the drive would essentially drop out of Windows and would not return. But because the paging files are on there, it would also completely blue screen my system, since whatever temporary information was being stored has now been removed. At least not via my fault, but probably by the drive's fault. Which is probably almost as bad as unplugging some RAM from your system while it was still on. So it just had a major malfunction and just brought down a lot of things. But I didn't lose any data because, like I said, I generally keep everything on the FreeNAS server, so it wasn't all that bad. So here's you thinking, okay, you had a dying drive or one that's become unreliable, so how about you replace it? Well, that would have been my intention. Now, I do have probably 15 spare hard drives just in a giant pile in my spare parts shelf next to me, actually. But the problem is, none of them are of appropriate capacities and also interfaces, as obviously my system's still new enough that it's still new in the fact that it has all SATAs, no ID ports. And the thing is, I have a lot of IDE drives, a lot of them. And the largest hard drive I do have was a 250 gig IDE drive, which is not particularly large enough. Not to mention, the other drive was also being used to store my Steam games and such. And let's just say that went to hell. I lost all my Steam stuff, but so I had to dig up the most appropriate drive that I could find, which at the present was a WD Blue 160 gig, and not to mention the one I did pull out the drive was a WD Black 1 terabyte. I'm going to run that drive through a lot of diagnostics because it was the symptoms I described, where the drive locked up, but yet was it locked up doing nothing. It was symptoms of another drive, which I actually gave Nat a while ago, and it was a Seagate drive that did pretty much the same thing. But the thing is, that drive still works today. So obviously the drive I don't think the drive has actually got a problem. Not to mention that this drive we're talking about is 2 years old with only about 9,000 hours on the clock. That's nothing. I have drives with 4 times those on hours, and they still work fine. I know on hours is not everything, but I would say that's still an indication of how much usage the drive has had. Not, I mean, to be fair, that drive was under a lot of use. It got virtually speaking hammered, but it never dropped the load. It was only recently it started spazzing. So that was all fun. So anyway, I stuck the 160 gig drive in there. Now the thing is, I could not store my Steam games. I mean, as nice as that drive is, that this WD Blue I dug up only had 700 on hours. It was basically brand new from my spare parts selection. So I thought, okay, we'll draft that in. We'll draft it in for some use and see how that goes. So I dumped the paging files on there. I dumped a few things, temporary bits and bobs that I need. All of the above. But the problem was, like I said, I can't store my Steam games. So what would I do? What ended up happening was I stored everything on the server, as the server has been, for the most part, reliable as well. And I do have a good sort of 2 to 3 terabytes of space on the server anyway, so I use that as temporary storage. But, well, at least I dumped it all on the server and such. But there's another problem. Hang on a second. Is that the military again? I'm not sure if you heard that, but sounded like a military chopper just flew overhead. I don't know. Oh yeah, there it is. No, it's the air ambulance. My house seems to be on a flight path. Anyway, getting back on topic. So I dumped all my Steam games on the server. Now, here's me thinking, since No Man's Sky is coming out, and to put a long story short, my friend has driven me absolutely insane with it. And personally, I don't think it's worth the money at the moment. The concept's there, but I think it needs to be No Man's Sky needs to have more to do, and in my mind, it needs to be fleshed out a bit. Of course, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not trying to hate the game. That's just my thoughts, and I would personally wait to see either more content to be added to the game, or I would want to have the price drop by at least 50%, to be perfectly blunt with you. So, ignoring that, ignoring my No Man's Sky thoughts, he's been driving me mad with it. So here's me thinking, I'll return to Skyrim. Why Skyrim? Well, it's a game that I've put the most amount of time in of any game in my library. I've put almost 1,200 hours into Skyrim. It's been one of my all-time favourite games, and it still is today. So here's me thinking, I'll just load up my Steam games on the server, and then I'll play some Skyrim in between the Boom Beach videos and everything else that I'm doing. One issue though, out of all the games, like every game would run happily on the network's drive, or at least running via the server. Yes, it wasn't as quick as running it locally, but it would work, which is the main thing. But no, the issue being is Skyrim did not work on this running off the network drive. I just, for the life of me, I could not figure out why. It was the only game that wouldn't do it. So I had to basically reinstall it locally, which I could do. The game isn't that large, so that was all fun. But then the other issue, I lost all of my mods, because all my Skyrim mods are on the dying drive. So, oh boy, what fun that was. I hotwired the drive outside of my computer, just had to open up the side panel, dig into the rat's nest of cables that is my back side panel, and just try and dig out a SATA connection, and I put in a data cable. You know how it works. So I tried to do that, and let's just say, because the drive was still having the lockup issues, I was constantly having to reboot the whole system, because when the drive drops, it doesn't show up again. And I can't just say unplug the drive, put it back in manually, because my motherboard does not support hot swap. So I was just let's just put this one on. So that was fun. So 3 entire reboots later, I managed to get the 20 gigs worth of mods off across, got that all set up, and we're back in business. And to be honest, it's within the last maybe 6 hours has been the only time I could say that I have actually finished fixing everything enough for me to record. At least enough to get back to where I am. So it was all fun. Oh yeah, that's another thing, not to mention, my server started dropping a hard drive. So that was bloody useful. Luckily, I do have a RAID 5 in there. And it's not the first time it's done it. I've had drives that have dropped in and out before, but the thing is, I think it's a slightly dodgy SATA port, on the motherboard. I mean, it is a Core 2 Duo based server. It's hardly anything too recent or anything, but that was a lot of fun trying to diagnose that. I still don't know if it works. I mean, it's working right now, but it does seem to drop at random. Now, I'll tell you one thing mostly for a fact. It's not going to be the hard drive that's going to be the problem in my server. I've got WD-RE4s, freaking enterprise grade drives in there. They are not the problem. Not to mention they've been running in there, and those drives have been running in that server for a good, coming up 3 years now, almost 24. Well, maybe like 16 hours a day because it does get turned off at night, and they've been incredibly reliable. But I still think it's just there's just one of the drives that just has a moment and just drops out. But then a quick reboot usually fixes it. Recently, I've had to open the server up just to sort of like, jiggle the SATA cables, make sure there's no dust in anywhere, any loose connections. I even changed the cables out, thinking it was a cable issue. But at the moment, everything seems to be working. Oh, and I just hope everything calms down. So, like I said, I apologise for the extra delay. There isn't. I mean, I know it's only an extra day, but still, regardless of the delay, I am back, and we are doing some Boom Beach, like I said. Now, someone did ask. Although, actually, one thing I will mention first. Captain A is the task force. Feel free to join. We are still open for recruiting, and we're doing well. We have 20 members thus far, and we're still growing. We had 2 more today, even though we had 1 member leave probably 3 days ago. Although he actually rage quit. It was actually on a... he was a low-level guy, I believe. Where was it? It was this guy. I'll just show you. He literally just got face planted in this attack. And he literally just raged, like he just rage quit. It's just like nope. Regardless of what level you are, it's like nope. Just rage. Had enough. This was such a massacre. I'm gonna rage quit. That was basically it. He did almost nothing. I don't think. It's just everyone just died. So that was fun. And he rage quit after that. So we may have lost a guy, but we gained 3 more. And that's that. So, but one person did mention on my task force, or inquired. I may as well leave this up for anyone interested. But everyone was wondering when or what's going on with my live streams. Now, I had a lot of technical difficulties before, and things got in the way, so I had to postpone the live stream for that week. And to be honest, I think some of the blue screening issues I had might have been caused by that slightly dodgy drive. I don't know. But as things stand at the moment, I will still try to keep at least some kind of stream going Saturdays at 6 PM Greenwich Mean Time, or at least just UK time, as I'm in the UK and I will generally plan times to suit me. I'm the guy streaming here. But of course, if you can't make it to the stream, it is obviously going to be recorded and uploaded separately anyway. So that's fun. But of course, things in life will always get in the way, no matter what you do. So I will say that is the time I would like to stream, but life can get in the way, and life often does get in the way, and it's quite annoying. So, if I don't get to stream that day, then I apologise. But there will probably be a video in its place. I usually do that. If I can't stream, I'll at least put something up, get at least a video just saying why. And I'm sorry, usually. Something to the effect of. But one thing I will quickly mention about No Man's Sky once again is Nass, like I said, he's obsessed with it, like literally obsessed. He's driving me bloody insane with it. Maybe this, like I said, this is payback for all the times I've driven him insane with Skyrim talk. But anyway, since he's going to be playing it, I mean, it's about to be released. At least at the time of recording this video, at was it 4:30 at my end? At the time of recording this, it's just about to come out in the UK on PC. So he's going to be probably playing it a lot, and I don't think I'll be getting him to stream. Actually, that's a good point. It's tomorrow. If there is any stream, it'll be tomorrow. That's a good point. So if there is any stream, then yeah, fair enough. But I might not be able to actually get him away from No Man's Sky long enough to do a stream. I don't know. So something tells me if there is a stream, might just be me doing something. Maybe stream some Boom Beach. I don't know. But other than that, there might be a bit of throwing a few spanners in the works, because I don't know what Nat's going to be doing. But I'll keep you informed. And last thing before I go, since I'm still staring at the Task Force screen, it's probably very, very exciting for you guys to see this. But yeah, Captain A is Task Force. Feel free to join at the moment because we're recruiting. Anyhow, what was I going to say? I was going to say something and I've forgotten. You're kidding me. Oh yeah, if you want to hear some more news on anything going on really with my videos or Boom Beach or anything of the above really, I would say do join the Task Force anyway, just because I often do just post just little updates and info in the Task Force chat when I'm recording, when I'm streaming, if there's any issues, and just so you guys get a heads up on what's going on. So if you want some insiders information to what I'm doing, then join the Task Force, even if you don't do much. Then you could still at least listen to what I'm saying. Speaking of that, I'll leave the link in the description to the Discord chat server, as it's easier to manage a lot of people in Discord anyway. As the Boom Beach chat does get full rather fast, so if you want to talk to me outside of recording hours or any of the above, then like I said, the link is in the description to the Discord server. Even though I might not be on the Discord server all the time, I'm still a Skype person, and there's currently no one online on the Discord chat thing. Although, actually, no, Edu's here. This chap here. So, like I said, link is in the description for that. And sorry for my delay, and just sorry for a lot of things, really. That's where every YouTuber does that at some point. It's like, oh, I missed something, I need to say sorry. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Hopefully I've not bored you to death in the 21 and a half minutes of me blithering about this shit. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all